Hello there, welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe and I've got Sam Pardee with me. Welcome, Sam.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good, and looks like we've got a little draft viewer set up for you. So this is your first draft from Pro Tour Fate Reforged. Fate Reforged, cons. Let's dive right into your first pack. So you open the thing up, pack one, pick one. What do you like here?
I got exactly what I was hoping for. A big old mythic, or a rare dragon actually. He's not mythic.
Just a regular rare?
He should be a mythic. He's basically ridiculous, unkillable.
So this is a card that you were really looking to open here.
Yeah, we discussed it, there's no common or uncommon I would take over it. It's just very, very good.
Okay, now the fact that it's blue-black, that doesn't bother you at all?
No, I mean, it means I'll be either blue or black, and I just will splash the other one if I need to, or maybe I'll be Teamer, you know.
Or maybe you'll
Sultai, whatever.
Maybe you'll splash 3 or 4 colors.
Yeah, it could happen.
Let's take a look at your next pick. And so jumping here, there's 2 cards that jumped out to me. I see Orc Sure-Shot and Aven Surveyor. How did you proceed here?
Yeah, those are definitely the 2 best cards, especially with a blue-black card. Otherwise, I might consider the Rider. He's very good, but I chose Sure-Shot over Surveyor just because I like black a little more than I like blue. And I think the card's a little bit more powerful, and it works very well with Silumgar. You play a guy, and then shrink their guy, and then attack and shrink it again, and so you can.
Which, by the way, I've seen you do. So
yeah,
that combo worked
with that.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
So you go for the Sure-Shot. So now you've got blue and black flowing. Let's take a look at your next pack here. And some decent options here as well. I see in blue and black, there's a Sultai Emissary. There's also a Lotus Pathogen. What catches your eye here?
I consider the Muck Draggers, but I was not really persuaded enough by that card just because I already have a couple expensive cards. I already have a 4-drop and a 6-drop. So I decided to go with the cheap card. I, again, wanted to stay, like, I've already taken a black card, so I could now just splash blue instead of having that be actually blue-black, so I took the black guy.
So you took the Sultai Emissary, a solid card, and can certainly help out.
Yeah, he's just fine.
Okay, next one is not quite as much for you here. There's a Will of the Naga, not great in the type of deck that looks like you're going towards here.
Yeah, I want to be controlling, and this is more of a tempo card, so I was not super excited. And none of these
what
cards,
did you like here?
Well, I took the land. None of these cards really...
There's not much for you
The other
here.
option was the Kinguard, which is a fine playable, but I didn't really want to pick up another color. And the land, if I end up like black-white, so if I end up Mardu or Abzan, I can just splash blue off of this land.
For your Silumgar.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at your 5th pick here from the first pack. And, I got to say, this kind of reminds me of the last one. There's not a whole lot for you.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. The Jeskai Barricade now works with my white land, but it's not good enough that I want to actually be, move into black-white or whatever. So, again, I just take the land on speculation, like maybe, I'll end up with some late red cards and they'll be good.
Are you getting worried at this point?
No, because none of these cards are super, it's not like there's a card that's not in my colors that's getting passed. It's just none of these cards are that exciting to me.
Okay, let's take a look at your 6th pick here. And I see another land, but there's also a Rats down here. What catches your eye? Maybe Enhanced Awareness?
Enhanced Awareness, Rats, and Hunt the Weak are the 3 cards that I like the most. Hunt the Weak is pretty much out because I don't have any green lands and I don't have any other green cards. So it's between Rats and Enhanced Awareness, and yeah, I have 3 black cards now, so I just take the Rats.
That seems good, especially if you're trying to get up to like Silumgar mana.
Yeah, he also works well with the Sure-Shot and letting you play 2 creatures a turn sometimes to kill off more for whatever.
All right, your 7th pick here. I see in blue there's Jeskai Sage. These don't look like the type of things you want, though. I suppose Alesha's Vanguard is playable?
Yeah, you could do worse than Alesha's Vanguard, but it's definitely not what this deck is looking for. So the Sage is good in a control deck. He helps you draw into your bombs, and he's just a solid card.
Also, I kind of like the idea of what you said before with the Orc Sure-Shot, right?
Yeah,
Another
exactly.
cheap creature.
You can get more cheap guys.
All right, let's take a look at your 8th pick. So this is the last pick of your first pack as far as what you were going to see here. Jeez.
Yeah, this was a very interesting pick. Karsi High Priest works really well with 2 of the creatures I have. I have the Jeskai Sage when he dies, draw a card, and the Sultai Emissary when he dies, manifest. So I took a long time debating between Bathe and Dragonfire and the Karsi High Priest, and I ended up going with Bathe just because it seems like such a ridiculous card to get so late that maybe Red's open.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's like first or second best red common.
I think this is one of the best red commons, so I was seeing it that late made me, and I'm missing out on a good card, but not the best. It's not like a bomb in black or anything.
Sure.
So it's fine.
Like if this had been a Sultai Emissary, would you have taken that?
I think it would have needed to be a little better. Like if it was a, Dousing Gloom, I'm snapping it up, but
But you got the
took
red
the
Douse and
removal
Gloom
spell. Yeah,
instead. All right,
exactly.
this is your last pick that we're going to look at. We're going to look at your whole pack in a second, but this is your wheel pack. So this is the cards that came back. And I have to say, like, that Whisperer of the Wild still being here surprised me.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised by that too. I briefly considered Fearsome Awakening because I do have a dragon in my deck, but
You can make it even
that's
bigger.
just too cute. I just took the Whisperer. I think it's the best green common, maybe one of the best green commons.
It's up there.
Yeah, and then I actually wheeled a bunch more green cards out of the pack, so I ended up with 3 green cards out of pack 1 after all was said
The
and
funny
done.
part about Fearsome Awakening is that your dragon is the hardest one to kill.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just very unlikely to end up in the graveyard.
It's only if you mill it.
So this is just to give an overall idea of your pack, and it's kind of all over the place. I mean, you've got some decent black cards, you've got Silumgar floating here, but Bathe in Dragonfire, Whisper of the Wilds, a couple of dual lands. You're still kind of feeling out where you're going here.
Definitely. I know I'm black and probably going to splash blue off, one of these dual lands, but I don't really have any other direction. I have some nice green cards, and they came late, which I thought was important.
Okay, so let's take a look at your pack 2. We're going to go through 5 picks of this, and whoop.
Yeah, Esper's not a usual strategy, but it works when it works, it works.
And
So-
Sorum Solemn Visitor certainly helps it work in a nice way too.
He's pretty good. So yeah, it was between that and I actually considered the Death Frenzy because it's very good in a Sultai control deck, but Sorin is just too powerful. I didn't want to pass it.
Okay, so you took Sorum Solemn Visitor. You had to be happy about that, though. Your mana.
Yeah, at this point I
Questionable.
need some lands, and I know that I need some lands.
All right,
so.
let's take a look at your next pick here as we move through. Some solid cards in this pack, though. What was jumping out for you?
Well, at this point, I know I'm black. I don't really know what my other colors are. I know I'm black and I'm going to splash blue, and probably white. So, but none of these cards are really going my black, like as my base color.
No, not a very good blocker down here.
Yeah, Jeskai Elder. So I end up deciding between these 2 lands. And now Dismal Backwaters, actually, the dual lands are a little better than the fetch lands in this format because coming into play tap doesn't hurt you as much, and you actually want both colors like multiple times as opposed to this where you have to choose when you fetch it.
Right.
But at this point, I only have 1 white card, so I want my dual lands to really tap for white because I might still end up like blue, black, green, splash white. I'm not entirely sure, so I decided to go with the
With the
Windswept
Heath.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along forward through this pack. What did you take here?
Easy Death Frenzy.
Death Frenzy, there you go.
My deck's very good at being controlling, and this card's great with Stilumgar. You can play it and then attack, and their guys go get -3. It's just fantastic.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Next pick. What did you take out of this one?
So here, I believe I was choosing between Killshot and Jungle Hollow.
And it feels like Jungle Hollow is a necessary.
Yeah, I just
Evil.
need lands.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I
All
have
right,
a lot
so
of colors.
let's take a look at your 5th pick here as we move to the end of this pack. What do you like out of this pack?
Killshot.
Just picking up removal spells.
Yeah, I don't want a Bondkin. That's the only other card I was thinking
Shanker
about.
is certainly not on
Yeah,
your, on your list.
I'm not playing red at this
All
point.
right, so there is all of them from pack 2. I see you picked up a few more playables in black here. Nothing
Yeah.
super exciting.
Another
but
Killshot was actually a big get, made me prioritize white a bit, and I got another land. Which
and
is
another
also
land.
big.
Good. All right, so let's take a look at your last pack as we wind down your draft here. What do you like out of this pack?
So I really wanted some defensive guys at this point. So I was choosing between the Parapet and the land, really. I still want some more fixing, but Parapet is just a cheap, nice defensive creature, so.
Yeah, that seems like it fits the bill
Snap
quite
it up.
nicely.
Yeah.
Let's look at your next pick here, and well, you've got a few options. I see a big Bellowing Saddle Brew. There's also a Dismal Backwater, which has to catch your eye.
Yeah, those are the 2 cards I was choosing between, definitely. I knew that I had counted my playables. I had about 15 if I was really stretching going into the pack, so I just needed I needed to pick up cards that I could play in my deck more than lands.
Okay, so you went with the Saddle Brute. All right, next pick. Well, there's some playables in here. I see in Disown Ancestor. If you want to go deep, you can get big Roddy here.
I played the Zombie Elephant more than one would think.
But you ended up taking the cheaper option
the cheaper card's better. Crackling Doom is nice, but again, no red for me. So.
Right, that's the only color you're not playing currently. What do you like out of this pack? I see Abomination might fit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Abomination, I don't mind it that it's sort of off color because I'm just splashing blue at this point because it's just a morph. So if I don't have blue, I can just trade it off as a morph.
Gives
So
you
it
a
can be
play
2/2.
early.
Yeah.
So you took the Abomination. The next pick. Well, I see a land here, but you were talking about playables. What did you end up with here?
I went with the land.
You had to take the
these are
land.
not that good. These playables are not great.
Middle ground. Your next pick. Are you into Zombie Apes?
Zombie apes are okay with me. Yeah.
Vizier.
Vizier, I don't think the card's that good.
I don't think it
is
is
a
either.
splash too. I'd rather just have a cheap play.
All right, so you got a zombie elephant, a zombie ape on your radar at least. Here's your 7th pick. What did you take here?
I believe I took the Alabaster Kieran. At this point, I know that I have 2 kill shots, so I can actually play a decent number of planes in my deck. So this guy, you know,
no, it's a
could
solid
fit okay.
pickup. All right, and this is your last pick from the draft that we're going to get to see here. And what did you get? A secret,
I was
a lich lord?
a little short on removal spells. So even though the right is very expensive, and I already have a lot of very expensive cards, I just ended up taking it.
It's also in your core color, so
yeah,
you
exactly.
could probably be able to cast it.
It's one of my main colors.
All right, and then we can take a look at the whole pack overall. So what colors did you end up?
All of them except for red. And I wheeled the Mandrills and the Dismal Backwater, so those were both huge cards.
Oh, you got the Mandrills and the Backwater back, so
both
that
cards
was
I'm happy
huge.
to play.
And overall happiness level with the deck?
Yeah, pretty good. I lost to Luis in the first round in
Uh-huh.
a very close match, and won the second one. I think my deck's pretty good.
You think it's
Hopefully I can win
pretty
the next
good?
one. Yeah.
So you went for power
Definitely a power over consistency sort of deck.
type deck, but you're comfortable playing that?
Yeah, I like it. I ended up with 6 lands, so my mana's not too bad.
Okay. Sam, thanks for taking the time, and good luck in the rest of the tournament. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe signing off from the Tournament Center.